Hi, Niels from Black Dragon Forge. Sharing with you the process I use to actually glue my hidden tang knives. So let's get cracking. Obviously, safety first, surgical gloves, we're working with glue. Got stuck to quite a couple of handles, knives in my time, so there we go. These apron, not protect you, but to protect your clothes, and like we all know, a happy wife means everyone in the family is happy, so no glue on your clothes. Then let's get cracking. What I've got is pliers for if I need to remove pins. I've got extra playing cards for if I need to mix extra glue for whatever reason. I've got my primary, which I was going to go there. There's my little ice cream stick. Got my pins, my lanyard hole, some extra pins. My clamps already set up. I've got my scales already prepped, pre-drilled, countersunk on the handle, and then obviously my epoxy. So let's get cracking. Like in everything I do, it needs to be neat around me, otherwise I kind of lose my temper. Okay, so rag, acetone, there we go. It's not a complicated process, and what we do is you actually make sure that your handles are, all your surfaces are actually properly cleaned, and the table doesn't look like it, but it has been dusted beforehand to get rid of any small particles that might be underneath from grinding, from drilling, whatever. Okay, so now we've got those set. Now to do my epoxy, and this is actually a new set, so always use too much rather than too little. You don't want to halfway through a glue end up having to mix more, and as I will on the video, you always have trouble with the holes. Now this one is pre-sealed. Turning the lid over, just doing that will uncrease it. Like I said, copious amounts. Make sure you've got enough, more than enough. I'd rather waste a bit than having to remix. Those are out of the way now, and as you can see, I didn't put the glue touching each other, so now there we go. I'm not gonna, by the way, I'm not gonna zoom in. I'm not gonna actually risk touching my camera or the remote on the camera for the fact, or for the sheer thing that you might want to see what I'm actually doing or zoom in. I'll be uploading this in HD, so you can actually do that there. Okay, so make sure it's properly mixed. This is 7-minute epoxy, Pratley. That's the only stuff I use, Pratley Clear. You can add pigment to it to actually color it the color you need to. This is a 7-minute epoxy, so let me not stop talking crap and actually start gluing. I've obviously pre-fitted and test fitted all of these, make sure that everything is flat. So on one side of my scale, do the other scale. And as you can see, I'm not doing a very neat job here, but the idea is not to have a neat job, but to coat everything in at least one layer of epoxy. Alright, taking the excess off. I'm taking my blade. You'll notice that I don't put masking tape on my blade or any tape. It's purely for the ease of actually cleaning the blade after I've done the gluing, and you'll now see that as well. Okay, so almost done. I try to fill those cavities with glue as you're scraping them off, all the excess, making sure that everything is covered. Okay. So that one there you can see we need a bit more there. So I'll stick that in. There we go. Now what I do with the excess of epoxy, I actually just bring it to the edge of the card. Alright, and we'll use the epoxy as a lubricant. And like we know, lubrication. So I roll the first pin in the epoxy, using the epoxy as a bit of a lube. There we go. And I'm having to push quite hard to actually get it through the scale. And obviously we've done this a couple of times, so number 2, set that one in place. Now I've got 2 pins protruding all the way. I can now locate the other scale, put that one on, right, and then my little trusty little hammer, I will just make sure that those are set properly, and we go for gold. So doing all the other ones. Obviously we'll do, at a later stage, I'll do a couple of different angles on doing the same process, obviously not on the same knife, because that would be completely counterproductive. So in the meanwhile, while while I'm doing this, I don't know, maybe I should do a bit of a song and dance. Not. Alright, so last pin going in. And I'd much rather have to hammer them through than having them just slip through. And now we're getting to lanyard tube, and this is always a bit of an issue. Let's hope for once this isn't. Sweet, baby, sweet. And as you can see, I didn't even remove the price tag there. Okay, so now once again getting back to my clamps. Oh, that one isn't set through all the way. Always double check, double check, double check. You do get poked by those pins, but number one, she goes in the front of the bolster. Number two, she goes in the middle of those pins, and for whatever reason she doesn't want that. Oh, there we go. And then number three right in between the last two. Okay, so there's that. You'd assume that this is done. No, now this is the tip I had on one of the previous videos. So there we go, your bunch is nice and clean. You just put that in the trash can. Okay, take another card, tear it in half, and this is no magic trick, this is just common sense. The excess epoxy that you have on your bolster, alright, and you can actually feel or hear the glue drying on my gloves. So you want to take the excess off, okay, and you now see the amount of epoxy on the blade there. Let me just get rid of this as well. Okay, so it's back to acetone. Acetone, just lightly rub your blade and you can actually hear it tearing the cloth there. And now cleaning up my bolster area before I actually let everything dry saves me a hell of a lot of time going forward. In other words, my bolster is clean, well, the bolster area of the blade, my ricasso is clean, and my blade itself is clean. Okay, now this is obviously taking some time, and I'm kind of running out of things to say. So, almost there. Now, I didn't even need to use my trusty little copper pin there. The normal way I'd use that one is obviously off brass, not copper. Brass is a lot softer than a hardened blade. It doesn't normally scratch, normally I say. And if you press hard enough and you go over an area quite a couple of times, you will scratch it. But I'm losing what I'm trying to do here. So let me just continue on this. Okay, now I've got a little stubborn stain there, for lack of a word. So in comes my little bamboo stick. Wrap it into the cloth and then on the edge, making sure that you've removed all the epoxy. And there you go. So that one there is now ready set, or is ready to set on its own. There you go. Let me just get rid of this. Okay. So the doctor's left the building. Have fun, enjoy, and remember to share. Keep well. Cheers.